What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
All right. Here I come. I'm here. No, wait is over. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to your morning cup. Today's Saturday, September 5th, 2020. It's your boy Dubby. And let's get right to it. We're going to start off in Times Square. Let's get to the report.
It was the same night as peaceful protests in Times Square, where demonstrators called for the arrest of a driver who plowed through a Black Lives Matter rally last night. CBS 2's Ali Bauman has that story.
Sources tell CBS 2 the driver surrendered himself to police this afternoon and was released without charges.
Released.
NYPD says their investigation is still ongoing.
We will not be bullied out of these streets by white supremacists.
Protesters returned to Times Square Friday, where less than a day prior, a car accelerated through them and sped off.
There's zero question in my mind that what he did was intentional.
Hercules Reed was standing directly in the car's path.
My friend Larry actually pulled me out of the way. I would have been dead if it were not for him.
Hundreds of Black Lives Matter protesters have been marching in response to the death of Daniel Prude upstate. Police say they were met by a handful of pro-Trump counter-protesters in Times Square, which turned into a standoff. The NYPD says officers on scene told the pro-Trump demonstrators to drive away, taking a route that avoids the BLM rally, but the driver instead went through.
You have a bicyclist block.
They told him to not go that way. He went.
Car from moving. We have two people that strike the car window, one with a punch, one banging on it. And you have the car speed away right through the crowd.
Nobody touched them while they're in the car. They came to us.
This is not the first time something like this has happened. In July, an SUV drove through a rally also in Times Square.
I am tired of people believing that this movement is a violent movement when we do nothing violent, day in and day out.
Police say right now they have no reports of any injuries and are asking any witnesses or victims to come forward and file a police report. From Times Square, Ali Bauman, CBS 2 News.
Thank you, Ali Bauman. Ali don't play around. She get it done. The thing I tell you, we've seen this before. We've seen this in Charlottesville. We've seen it in Portland. We've seen it in many cities across the country. Cars driving through protesters. We've seen it in New York City already. It's not the first time. The thing that I caught that was said in the report was they were pro-Trump dem. Besides the fact that the guy, the motorist, was released, after he attempted vehicular homicide. But the thing that caught me was when Ali called them pro-Trump demonstrators. And I'm saying to myself, all right, these people are here to protest the killing of Daniel Prude, the mentally ill man who was naked in the street and put the plastic bag over his head and ultimately asphyxiated in Rochester, New York. They're there to protest that and bring awareness to that situation, and it's worked. The cries of the city and the people who give a damn have worked in that case. We're gonna get to that. But my thing is, if you're a pro-Trump demonstrator, why do you have a problem with people who want to fight against unlawful killings? Think about that. I mean, we know the answer. I'm just saying, if you're a pro-Trump demonstrator, you want to fight with people who are anti-police brutality. You don't like them because they're anti-police brutality. So that means you are pro-police brutality. That's the math, right? I mean, you got to be, because you're going to say, no, I'm not pro-police brutality, so why are you mad at them? Why are you mad at them? Did Daniel deserve to die? Did he? Did Mr. Prude deserve to die? You go there and you go fight with these people who are fighting for freedom and their own safety and their own future. Why? I don't get it. I mean, like I said, once again, I do get it, but it's the math. These people are for police brutality. They're for, inequality, and they're for the people to be docile. They want them to go home and go in their homes and hope it doesn't happen to them. So that's how I look. Because when you put the numbers together, if you give me 1 + 2 + 3, you give me 1, 2, and 3, I got 6. I could tell you, I could spin it whatever I want. But you give me this, you give me that, and you give me this, 1, 2, 3, and you put them there, I got 6. If you are anti-police brutality, I mean, if you are against people who are anti-police brutality, that means you are for it, and they call them pro-Trump demonstrators. So people who are pro-Trump are for police brutality. Is that what we're saying? Is that what the math is? So shit is bugged out. People, you know what I mean? But like I said, man, it's the illest year of our lives. You know, Pandora's box. You got people from both sides who are angry for their own reasons, and both sides think both sides are fighting for something. One side is more quiet for what they're fighting for. The other side is loud and boisterous, like the protests in Times Square. Because they're not gonna, because what they're fighting for, looks like they're fighting for white supremacy. Because, I mean, to be against them, there's people who are like, nah, man, they don't go down there. And there's white folks, you know, and people and other cultures who really, this doesn't really even apply to them like that. But it should apply to everyone, because this is a human problem, and this is an American problem. And America has become like one of these third world countries that they always used to send help to. They become a violent, dangerous place with a lot of extremists, a lot of terrorists, a lot of militants, a lot of anti-government, a lot of anti-people, a lot of anti-black, a lot of anti-gay, a lot of anti-everything is here. And when you're against something, you want to F them up. I don't like him, yo. Punch him in his face. You know? So this is, you know, let's move it over, you know, related.
Now, breaking
We'll go up to
Rochester,
Rochester
New York, the
with the
mayor
Daniel
has
Boone
just
situation.
suspended
What's going on
7
up there?
officers in connection with the death of a black man
7
who news from
suspended.
suffering from mental distress while being arrested. Daniel Prude died more than 5 months ago, but body cam video of his arrest was only released on Wednesday. And a warning, the video is disturbing. Here's CBS's Jerika Duncan.
Get on the ground. Get on the ground.
41-year-old Daniel Prude was naked and yelling when officers handcuffed him in the early hours of March 23rd. Minutes into the video, an officer puts a spit hood over Prude's head.
I'm already in.
Trying to kill me.
You can see one officer press Prude's covered head to the ground until his body goes limp. It all began when Prude's brother, Joe Prude, called 911. Concerned about his brother's mental state after he was mentally evaluated at the hospital 8 hours earlier.
I'm already in.
Trying to kill me. You hear him? Don't kill me. That was a sign right there for y'all to let up.
A brain-dead Prude was taken off life support 7 days later. The medical examiner ruled the death a homicide caused by complications of asphyxia in the setting of physical delirium and acute PCP intoxication.
I'm still waiting on him to call me and say I'm coming home.
Restraint. Prude's 18-year-old daughter, Tayshira,
Shit's tough to
spoke
watch,
through tears.
To know that I would never get there is breaking my heart.
The release of the body cam footage 5 months after the incident sparked peaceful protests calling for the officers to be held accountable. Rochester Mayor Lovely Warren.
Do you think Daniel Prude would have been treated differently if he was white?
I do.
Why?
It's just the way that the system works.
A protest just kicked off moments ago, and behind me at this church, a community meeting to discuss the death of Daniel Prude. The New York Attorney General's office is still investigating this case. We have yet to hear from those 7 officers who were suspended today. Meanwhile, the police union put out a statement calling the incident, Nora, concerning.
Jerika Duncan tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Nora. Thanks, Tarika. Yo, man, I just want to say something, man. These, you know, this is not the police brutality channel. You know, this is my news channel. You know, try to give you stuff that you might have that got swept under the rug, or stuff that is very relevant, or stuff that you can't ignore. And this is both of number 2 and 3. You know, and among other things, you know, I can play the sports. You know, try to, you know, get in the lady audience something they want to see, interesting, a little tea, stuff like that. You know, I do my thing. But I talked about Mr. Prude, you know, his homicide, his murder, in a couple of days ago, and we got more details. He's from Chicago, and he was going to visit his brother in Rochester, and this happened to him. And this happened March 23rd. No one found, you know, he died on the 30th, and we didn't find out about it till this week. We know all of that stuff. With that said, this is really an update video, but these are tough for me. I don't know about you, everyone feels differently, you know, especially if you're black, or you know you're from the neighborhood, or like, or you know you're from the inner city. You know about these situations closely, and they're tough, yo, because you know people. This has happened, so I know people who died at the hands of the police. So, but that said, these are like, I'm like watching this report, and I'm like, damn, this is, you know, the censor and all that is good for YouTube, but wow, man, these are really taking their toll, man. This whole thing is taking its toll on me, you know. So like, that's one of the reasons I like doing these videos now more often, you know. It's good for me, because this is what I like to do. I've always liked this kind of forum and broadcasting, so it's good for my mental and my physical. You know, I have my routine, so I come here to see y'all, and I'm a very social person. I'm an introvert, private, but social person. I'm weird. I'm a weirdo. I'm a Gemini. Bear with me. So, but it just be tough, these stories, you know. And Mr. Prude, rest in peace again, man. You know, this will continue. You know, there's gonna be plenty of more stories about this. It's not going anywhere. Much like the story of this young man, Jacob Blake. Here, you see him? That's Jacob Blake, who was shot by the police in Kenosha weeks ago, 7 times in the back. Everyone's seen that video. And he was at a Zoom conference call, and it was a Zoom call, for his for charges that he's facing unrelated to his shooting. So he's made it to his court. You see him right here. He's got his little tie on. Of course, he's in his hospital bed, and he still can't walk, and he might never walk again. But he's stable as heck, and God bless him. I know he has a long road ahead. Not only his physical, his family, but just he's a public figure now. He'll probably be a public figure for the rest of his life if he wants to. If he wants to, you know, or, you know, it's up to him. Because he's got people who are going to say the worst things in the world about him, and he's got people who got his back, who will let him stay at their house, yo. They love him. They never met him, and they care about him. So, and that all goes back to when we talk about the sides of the tracks and the way our country's split in half. You either with the itch or you not. You with them. There's no middle no more, and it's sad, yo. Because the middle means you're thinking for yourself. Yeah, they right. So, they right too. You know, you could, like the mediator, the middle. But if you're a mediator now, you get killed. Pick a side, bitch. You know, pick a side, and then you're forced to. So if you had a regular mind, you know, where you could, not a regular mind, but like a open mind where you were able to make decisions. That's how I am, and I feel like I'm in there. And I'm not saying picking a side between Democrat and Republican or black and white or anything, because the sides I'm talking about, there's all kinds of people on both sides. It's black. You seen Herschel Walker's son? You know, Candace, Kingface, they over there. So it's not really black or white. And then, you know, you got riders here, yo, who are white as heck, toes pink as heck. And they on this side with the hood, like, you know, with whatever you want to call it. You know, because it's not a politically correct show. But we're not gonna be out here getting censored or strikes, yo. YouTube took my video down, though. Yeah, they took the video down where I wish Mom a happy birthday. I guess I had shown the Kyle fight. The Kyle Rittenhouse fight. I wasn't supposed to do that because he's underage and he was fighting. And then he got tossed up, you know, and when they smacked him on his slippers. So I wasn't supposed to show that, and they gave me a warning, and I won't be showing anything like that ever again. So y'all hear me, YouTube? So there goes Jake. God bless him, you know. So anyway, moving on. Little story, little sport, back to sports. We talked about this on the last video I put up. Was about Steve Nash's hiring a couple of videos ago, 1 or 2 videos ago. But the reason I'm back at this again, even though I already discussed this, is because I didn't talk about the part where people like Stephen A. Smith are saying that Steve Nash got this job because of white privilege. And when I heard him, I read the tweet and I heard him say it, I was like, yo, you got to be kidding me with this guy, man. He's supposed to be informed and hip and all that. And I'm not saying there's not a racial disparity of coaches in the NBA, because there's only 5 black coaches in the NBA right now. And it's in a league of 30 teams, in a league where a ridiculous majority of the players are black. I don't know, maybe 75, 80%. So they do need more representation as far as coaching positions and front office positions go. You know, but they're the most progressive league in North America. So like, and the Nets are probably the most progressive team in the league, probably in any sports league in the major four. The Brooklyn Nets are on some real progressive movements. They are a players team. They're a player organization. You know, people like, yo, you know, I'm not, yo, that white privilege is, you know, it's real. But you can't just be using it every time, because when you need to point it out, they're gonna be like, yeah, you always say that. It's like, you know, it's like the boy cry wolf. You gotta use it when it's time to use it. You know, you can't just be using it all the time, man. You're using up the ammo. You can't use every bullet, yo, to kill roaches. So, you know, let me get some of this tea. I'm over here drying up. Talking my butt off. Yeah, so I think, you know, people like, yeah, Mark Jackson is not going to coach in the NBA again, guys. It doesn't matter if he should or shouldn't, just know he's not. I'm going to tell you why he's not. Mark Jackson left unceremoniously in Golden State with a good team who was on the rise, a future championship team. He was let go, and the reason he was let go was because of his religious position, you know, and his beliefs, and where he stood as a Christian. And, you know, the NBA, like I said, is very progressive. There's a lot of rainbows on the uniforms now. The NBA reps the LGBT, all of that, cool beans. But Mark Jackson ain't with it. He wasn't with it. So it's not like he's like, I don't want it, you know. So say that night Mark Jackson's coaching, he gets hired, right? Say, I don't know. Say Philadelphia hires him. Did Philly get a new coach yet? I heard Tyronn Lue going there, but did that happen? I don't know. I should know, right? I don't. But say someone hires him. He gets an opening. He gets one of those openings. And they have LGBT night, right? Mark's not going to sit there and say, oh my God, I'm not coaching. No, he's not going to do that. But if they ask him at the press conference about it, he is going to dub that. He's going to dub that stuff. Like, yo, I don't, you know, my religion. And it's going to piss people off. It's going to outrage people. It's going to cause a stir. Mark knows that. Any other GM owners in the league, they know that. Mark is in the best place where he at right now on TV getting money. Mark don't need to mess with this. This is a different place. That's why Steve Nash was able to obtain that job. The thing is, yo, with structure and hierarchy, people be like, oh, this guy was at this position for so long. He was here. He was assistant for 7 years. It's his turn. I don't believe in that, yo. I believe the best man for that job. The hierarchy system is stupid. If you got some young hot boy or a young hot chick, yo, you know, coming in your company, and she know more than all of the other people who've been there 6 years, but even though she's a youngin', you're not gonna give her the high position and she can make your company better just cause Larry and Mikey and Kareem and them been here for 6 years, you wanna give it to them? No, I don't believe in that. Give it to that, you know, and that's where sports, that progressiveness is going, you know. And on top of that, of course, Steven gets along with Kyrie. Kyrie and KD run the team. They run the team. So to sit there and use the white privilege bullets or the racism bullets, or, you know, and use them is not the time, no, at all. Steve Nash, yo, the hood loves Steve. Them boys, yo, them brothers in the league love Steve Nash for a reason. They wanted Steve Nash. Steve lives in Soho. Steve kicks the soccer ball around Soho like a Soho dude. He's a New York guy. And he's going to be here with these guys. And then the thing is, the Nets going to have to get themselves a championship, though. Because at the end of the day, I could talk progressive this, and you could put Biggie Smalls' jersey in the rafters and make for the hip-hop crowd, and you could have LGBT night, then you could have salsa night, and you could make everybody happy. Yay! It doesn't matter if they don't win the NBA championship with these three guys, Kyrie, Nash, and the great Kevin Durant. So, but that's it. I'm going to see y'all later today. I got some more stuff. We're going to talk a little Disney. We're going to talk a little, what else we got? We're going to talk about a little bit about some NBA. We're going to get here. We'll talk some NBA and some other stuff that is going to be fun. Cam Newton, Dre, a bunch of other stuff. So, I'm going to see y'all later. The Cup. Like, subscribe, all that. You heard?